we've already started and this is amazing.
This is really, really lovely.
It seems like the two of you might be quite hungry.
Oh, do you know what? It's because we've been talking about it all day. And it was sticky chicken you had me at, and then that ginger rice, which I've just described is exactly what you're making, so I don't need to ask you.
No, that's it. Sticky chicken, miso, ginger rice. Many people know miso now. Some people don't. It's literally a paste for fermented bean paste. And if you've never tasted it before, it's the same flavour as soy sauce. And it's great for marinades. You can use it for pieces of fish or chicken or whatever you want. And this marinade works great for fish or chicken or pork, anything like that. And actually, even on a steak and on a barbecue, it's brilliant. And it literally is miso, brown sugar, sesame oil, a bit of mirin, which is sort of a sweet Japanese vinegar, and then soy, all the stuff you can buy in a supermarket these days.
If you can't buy mirin or you haven't got it, can you just use any other sort of vinegary thing?
I use half vinegar and half maple syrup.
OK.
And put the two together so you get this sort of sweet sharpness that comes from it.
OK.
So brown sugar first goes, and you put it all into a pot. So it's brown sugar, this miso, which is miso paste. There's the paste, and you can buy it now in the supermarket. It's not miso soup, not to be the miso soup. The soup is just the byproduct of the miso. A little bit of sesame oil, a good amount of sesame oil to make it taste good. Yum. Soy sauce for your for a little bit of salt, and then this mirin, and you bring the whole lot to the boil. Now, if you're going to marinate something, you can marinate it for a long time, you marinate it for a short time. The idea here is to do whatever you want. Everybody's busy, do what you want to do, put that goes on the stove, it heats up, and you end up with this sort of lovely glaze. Now, with chicken, and especially, I'm going to use chicken thighs and I'm going to use butternut squash. So chicken thighs first, you can buy boned already in the shop. Butternut squash, peel it, cut it in half, and then cut it into wedges, so you've got about 12 wedges. Put into a tray, line with paper, only because I don't want to do the washing up. If you line a tray with paper, honestly, it saves you so much time, especially when you've got sugar involved. And then you put that in the oven with a little tiny bit of oil, and you cook the butternut squash for 15 minutes.
I love butternut squash.
It's great, but it takes more time than chicken takes to cook, which is unusual. So that's why
That depends on how big a chunks you've got.
Well, you want nice big chunks because you want to be able to have something with a bit of body in it. You still want a bit of flavour there. So the chicken thighs now, what happens with the chicken thigh, if you want them to cook and you want the skin to go slightly crispy, what you need to do is get a knife and just prick the skin about 4 or 5 times. Now, what that does is it means the fat underneath the skin, as it starts to cook, comes up to the surface and then makes the skin go crispy. It also means that your skin doesn't shrink around the top and it doesn't go all tough. Take your chicken into a bowl, simply in a bowl. Take your marinade, and then pour your marinade across the top, and literally just coat it in as much as you possibly can. Inside, outside, anywhere you want. That's really good. I love that you're loving it, Holly. I'm really, really pleased.
And then just eating it.
Good. I'm really pleased. Because the thing is, especially when you're eating stuff like this, you want it that the children actually, want to eat it. And I think the flavour is such with miso that you don't even realise that it's so mild and so lovely, and that sweetness of sugar, stickiness. And they go, oh, yeah, that's great. And then the butternut squash, they go, oh, OK, fine. So
and you can put that on fish and chicken, anything, that miso. Yeah,
anything you like. And there's a very, very famous restaurant in London, and actually now all around the world, that does one with a piece of black cod, and they charge about 50 quid a piece. That's the marinade, almost exactly the same.
Wow.
But you marinate your fish overnight, and you leave it overnight, and then you put it underneath your grill. Don't in the oven, underneath your grill, and it will work.
Is that the one that starts with an N and ends Obu?
That's it. That's one. Take your chicken and drop it between. So these have been in there for about 15 minutes.
Oh.
Drop the bits of chicken now on top, in between your bits of butternut squash.
So just going back to that, you can create your own non-50-pound...
You can.
Black cod. Do it with fish.
Yeah, but the black cod is not cod that's black. Black cod is a different type of breed of cod, which is very, very oily and very fatty, and comes from deep waters. So it's a completely different texture to a piece of cod you get in a fish and chip shop. So that's why it's so dense, and that's why it holds together.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Norwegian black cod. Now, what I do then, because I sort of love a bit of, freshness, pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
Because we should all be eating lots of seeds, apparently. And then some bird seed, sesame seed, bird seed.
Times are tough. Times are tough.
Some birds. If you don't have any of those, go out and get some bird seed into the oven.
And throw a little bit of grass on top.
That's it. 185 degrees, shut the door and don't touch it and let it go for 45 minutes. Literally, don't touch it. The only thing you need to do, I suppose, is now go to your fridge, get yourself a bottle of Chardonnay, as it's Monday. And that's the first bit, so that's a good idea. Now I'm going to do rice. Rice, I think some people get really, really floored by it. This is really simple. I'm going to do ginger rice. So I've taken some shallots, some ground ginger and some fresh ginger. Take a piece of fresh ginger and literally just smack it on a board and bruise it. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to cook the rice with the ginger in it, but I want to get rid of the actual ginger at the end. I don't want it in there.
Oh, okay.
So I get the flavour. Ginger powder.
Why don't you want it in there?
Because you don't want to eat a big hunk of ginger. You don't want big clumps of ginger in your rice. You want the flavour of the ginger, and you get the flavour of the ginger juice, but you don't get the big hunk of ginger. Okay. In goes your rice with your spice.
What rice?
Long grain rice. I've washed it 3 times so it doesn't go sticky. So wash it 3 times in a bowl so it goes nice, the water runs clear and doesn't go sticky. 200 grams of rice to 450 grams of stock or water. Put on a stove, bring the whole thing to the boil, put that into there, in there, and it looks like there's way too much liquid in there. It is absolutely perfect. You then take that, once it comes to the boil, put a lid on it, put it in the oven with your chicken, because now you're a little bit behind, 40 minutes, it'll come out be perfect.
No way.
Yep.
It's got like a sticky texture, the rice.
The rice has got a
tastes
sticky...
like that kind of nice, nutty... It's like it's really good, basically. Oh, well, I've dropped it now because I'm talking.
Well, that's all right. Don't worry about the birds will come and eat it afterwards. Because there's plenty of birds, see.
Well,
just call the birds, they'll come to you, that's
tea.
fine. So now what we've got is you've got your rice, so you do this, like, there's your rice. So your rice is there, it's all looks slightly sticky because of all that lovely bits of ginger. Then there's the sort of really nice bits of our chicken, which is there. And then if you look at that, what you've got is you've got this lovely juice that's left over, all that's just come out of the chicken from there. Pour that into a jug, and then take a nice little spoon. There's a big spoon, John.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even shut the thing. Oh. I've got 20 seconds left. I'm not going to do it. So now you take everybody to the table. There's your big bit of ginger. Don't serve that. Take that.
It is so good.
Put the chicken on. Put some garnish on. And you got yourself...
Thank you.
Some lunch.
Thank you so much.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Delicious.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Right, loose ladies, next, what you got?